Good morning. Now we can see how digital technology is so important in our everyday life. Now, good morning. It is a real pleasure to be here with you to stress the importance of this G20 for research, education, training, and digitalization. It is the first G20 meeting touching upon the subject of research. Research has a very important meaning, and today research is being recognized not just nationally, but also internationally as a key domain to gain access to trading, education, but also to future prospects for strong, sustainable, resilient, and inclusive recovery. If we want to have a strong, sustainable, resilient, and inclusive recovery, we need to take action, starting from empowering people, and this is where training and education come in. We also need a transformation so that research can easily and rapidly have an impact on the market. And this is particularly true for digitalization. And at the same time, we need research infrastructures that are a point of strength in many countries, but these infrastructures have to be able to be used in a safe way, safe and secure way. Now we have agreed upon a declaration which is based on three fundamental pillars. The first is that of skills. I like repeating it. New skills can only come from the domain of research and innovation, and they have to be handed over to our young people. Within higher education, young people have to be provided with these skills because our young people will then rule the world. But also we will have to teach these skills to those who are already part of the employment market. These skills mean the attention being paid to skills, and this has been repeated by many countries today. I mean, having these skills means being able to reorganize our university education system. Because we have to change the ways, the curricula of our university, and we have to do so very rapidly. People, if we start preparing and training them today, will be ready in 4 to 5 years. So we have to act now, swiftly, rapidly, without being influenced by our own history. Secondly, and I believe that globally this is of great relevance, and indeed in the declaration we have agreed upon this point, the second pillar has to do with the benefits entailed by digital technologies complying with ethical principles and values. First of all, there has to be an appropriate use of data. You know how important that is. You know what have happened in Italy over the last couple of days. But also ethical principles and values for research. Research must be open. There is a major European project concerning public data. If data have been obtained through public financing, we will have to make this data available to the whole community. Not just the world of research, but also the industry, the citizens, They have to be public, but data will have to be taken care of. They will have to be reproducible. They will have to be reliable. They will have to be fair, as we say in Europe. And the whole of this, research and training, have to work together. They have to go hand in hand. There has to be a strong alliance between these two domains, because it's just these two domains that can secure a responsible research. And the third pillar has to do with a debate on common digital infrastructures, access to data, access to digital tools, the evolution of these digital infrastructures. Of course, there has to be competition, but there have to be agreements as well. So all our countries will have to find a common way of doing things, moving in the same direction. We will have to work with great transparency, with accountability of both researchers and users of data and infrastructures. And last but not least, when it comes to skills, but also to ethical principles and values, we underline the relevance of not leaving anyone behind. Equity, fairness. These are our values. And we have to overcome the gender gap, which we know affects all our countries. We will have to try and attract young women in STEM areas and in the digital domain. If there are questions, please just move to the podium. Now, Barbato, Sky TG24. I have a question on the Green Pass. Green Pass, which is about to be extended to university professors and students, as decided yesterday. Well, there are two things, and the university must be a pioneer in this sense. First of all, universities have to stress the importance of traditional, conventional training and education. The world of university, the academia, has developed vaccines, and it has to be universities which have to promote the use of vaccines. Universities have to adopt all necessary safety measures so that we can go back to teaching and learning in person. Of course, it's much more difficult for primary education. We have about 1.8 million students enrolled at universities, and I've asked them to be an example for our society. I've asked them to show that they feel a strong responsibility when it comes to safety measures against COVID. Clearly, the right to study is being complied with, because remote teaching and learning will be preserved whenever students are not granted a green pass for any reason. So remote teaching and learning will go on. Mario Marchetti, Rai News 24. We were talking about skills yesterday with Minister Colau, especially when it comes to cybersecurity. He said that the problem is not so much money, but skills and human resources. Given the importance of the mission in the field of research and education within the National Plan for Resilience and Recovery, I'd like to know what interventions are being planned. Yes, there is money. There is money for digital skills within the National Plan for Resilience and Recovery. And these funds will be used for two purposes. First, to create organizations that can produce guidelines guidelines that will have to be adopted by the academia in teaching new subjects, digital technologies, digital skills. And part of the funds will also be used to provide orientation to young students who have to enroll at university, and so to guide them and to encourage them to choose studying these skills. So the funds are there, but money is not enough. What is important, as I said at the beginning, is to change our curricula, our university curricula, so that we can mobilize all those resources within the academia that can open up new horizons within the digital domain. Other questions? Diego D'Amelio Piccolo. Professor Fantoni, the president of ESOF 2020, was being quite polemic in the sense that the world of Trieste, which is a scientific world, Trieste has a scientific vocation, has not been involved in this G20. So I'd like to know what you think about that and the involvement of the local perspective within the G20. Well, I don't think that there have been any polemics. We know that events like the G20 are ruled by the world of diplomacy, and diplomacy, of course, invites the representatives of the G20 member states, and these platforms are reserved to ministers. It's not that we wanted to ignore the world of science locally. The world of science has been involved in the definition of our declaration. Paola Inverardi was our choice. She was a former lecturer of the University at L'Aquila. She's an expert in the ICT sector, so she was chosen for her skills and knowledge. However, I believe that the whole of the scientific community has been involved. This is the second time that I come to Trieste, that I come here to Friuli Venezia Giulia, because here we have a strong concentration of science, education, and training. And indeed, it is a region with a very strong scientific vocations. If there are no further questions, I thank the members of the press. Thank you and good morning.